Hello and welcome to the Big Bank Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Oh, we're not in the same place, I'm afraid, Dan, are we?
No, we're back on the budget kind of recording
Yeah,
experience.
Sorry, listeners. We're in different places because Boris Johnson came and took a test of my wife, and then he's lost it. Left it at one of his girlfriend's houses, I'd imagine. So we are quarantined, but for no real reason.
You, in very good faith, are sticking with the 14-day rule and staying in your house with children, which I think is very noble of you. I've been straight out down the boozer.
Well, I think that I don't know. Who even knows? No one knows, do they? Anything. But here we are. So we're over the FaceTime. So that's why we might sound a bit weird.
Yeah, but you're not ill, are you? So, I mean, we're just going to... I mean, this is just a one-off and we're back to normal.
Back in the game, yeah. Hopefully nothing mental will happen in the next few days. But City have played 2 games since we last spoke, listeners. I'd like to first of all shout out, Dan, to the geezer who, on Facebook, when City announced the change of times for kickoff. You see that? So, they should have been 7:45. Obviously, a lot of players have got to get a long way back overnight, back to where they're from, Crawley, or City get back to Exeter or whatever. He's livid because 7 p.m. is when he eats his tea. He's like, why have you moved that? It's when I eat my tea. That's a genuine comment on City Facebook. So,
I mean, why not just have tea while you're watching it?
I'm assuming he hadn't thought about that. But, if he's got to get to the ground for 7:45 normally, what's he doing? Eating his tea on the bus?
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't be going anywhere, would you? I mean, you're not like, I don't know. That's very strange.
Anyway, bad luck
Maybe
to
a very
him.
traditional person has to sort of get the whole family around, sit down at the dinner table, phones off.
Yeah.
Just, family time.
Candelabra out, all that stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, sorry to him because he presumably missed City winning 2-1 tonight. Just a couple of minutes ago, City played Crawley at home and somehow came out 2-1 victors.
I mean, you'd be livid if you're a Crawley fan with that.
So livid. Raging.
What a way to lose against... I mean, we did get better throughout the last sort of 20 minutes, but they got to be scratching their heads at that one. How did they possibly not win?
It was a weird game, wasn't it? We started okay. Sparks hit the crossbar about 3 minutes in. And I thought, okay, going for this.
Well, it was end to end for the first 5 minutes. They hit the crossbar as well, didn't they? And
They
it was
did.
Full pelt. And it looked like, Sparks looked like it was kind of at a point to prove.
Yeah.
But then...
Well, Ward made some good saves, didn't he?
Straight away they started getting in behind our centre backs, didn't they? And it looked like that guy, the guy who scored the goal, was his name Waters?
Yeah.
When
Crawley are on the way back tonight, they must be thinking, what has become of us?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he got...
What the hell happened?
So Ward kept him in it, or kept us in it, rather.
There's a couple of warning signs, wasn't there, where it looked like, I think the first one was like this guy Waters got him on and he had a kind of foot race with Tom Parks, and it looked like, I don't know, it looked like Linford Christie against I don't know who's slow.
Tony Christie,
yeah. One for the kids. All the references.
If there's kids listening right now who don't know about Tony Christie's charity record with Peter Kay, then I don't want to know you kids. But in the end...
or Linford Christie either. I mean, like I said, who's new? Usain Bolt.
I mean, even he's retired. I don't know what the kids are referencing now in terms of fast people. None of them.
Kids, who do you like in athletics these days? Let us know.
Get in touch.
Write in and let us know.
Please do. But somehow, Dan just dropped his phone. Just one of the many perils of FaceTime. But then, we were on the attack.
Yeah, a couple of good saves from Ward.
Yeah.
Ward, sorry. Yeah.
That's right. And then we were on the attack, weren't we? I mean, we hadn't really looked good. Joel Randall looked all out of sorts. Collins was making a couple of sloppy passes. Taylor had a couple of chances on the edge of the box and just kind of stumbled over it. Fisher
The
looked...
system looked wrong, especially for the first half, didn't it? Fisher was just completely on his own. I mean, obviously Matt Jay's given way for Nicky Law, and I think Law just can't get close enough to. One, he kind of wants to roam around and drop deep to get the ball and stuff, and he hasn't got there. He can't cover the same amount of ground as Matt Jay, can he? Understandably, he's a lot older, and he just couldn't get close enough to Alex Fisher, and neither could the wide players. And it was like, you felt sorry for Fisher really, because he kind of, what was he supposed to do?
Yeah. So it really looked a bit half-assed, didn't it? First half, Williams wasn't really producing much. Caprice had started ahead of Key, hadn't he?
Yeah. I mean, with hindsight, the full match, Caprice, he did okay, and I mean, we only conceded one goal, and it's not like Crawley, after they scored, didn't have a huge amount of chances.
No.
They kind of had quite a few leading up to their goal. Have we got to that yet? Basically, we haven't got.
No, we haven't got to that yet. I mean, Tom Nichols was there for Crawley, and he looked a bit of a shadow of the lad I remember from playing for City. Obviously, he's had a few barren years, but we were on the attack actually 5 minutes before half time, and it was either blocked or deflected on the edge of the box, maybe by Joel Randall, and then out it flies into our half, and you realise it's Sweeney against, was it Waters?
Yeah.
1-on-1, and Sweeney had the chance to do something, didn't he?
He could have just easily headed. I mean, it looked like just head it back to. I mean, it looked like he got outpaced, outmuscled, and outthought all in this like about a millisecond, didn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. That Sweeney had come back into the side, so we're obviously covering 2 games tonight, aren't we? The one on Saturday, 0-0 against
Walsall.
Who was it again?
Walsall. Yeah.
And Sweeney come back in for that alongside Tom Parks. Now, I know what you're thinking. Parks and Sweeney as a back two. Is this what we want? Is this good enough? Answer, no. But 2 games, 1 goal conceded, 4 points.
Yeah.
You can't argue with it, really. Even if you really want to, like I do.
I mean, I think what we can say about Sweeney was, in that opportunity, he could have done anything that would have been a better option than what he did do, which was nothing.
Yeah.
Waved a foot at the ball. Lewis Ward didn't have a chance once Matey was through.
The one thing he didn't do is take him down, which is something we've seen Sweeney do in the past.
I mean, that's
and that
true.
would have been the one thing he could have done worse.
Maybe that's personal growth.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I don't think we thought we'd see. I certainly didn't think we'd see Sweeney starting in league matches again. After it all the signs seemed to be pointing to that he was, his Exeter City days were done. Really, I thought, didn't you?
I absolutely did. The Walsall game, of course, McArdle we realised was out. So, like you said, Sweeney and Park started, and they got the 0-0 away at Walsall. And then, I mean, you can see why that justifies your place in the next game. But this was a big Sweeney error for the goal. So we go in 1-0 down. That was a couple of minutes before half time, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it looked at half time it was dreadful at that point. Apart from that first 5 minutes where we kind of had that one shot. Basically, it looked bad. It looked like we were so all over the place. It looked like every single part of what we have going on was going bad. I get the slight impression this season we're a bit like we don't know what we're trying to be. Like we're trying to be everything at once, like solid at the back and quick on the wings and neat passing in midfield and a big man up front. And it's sort of like I don't see how it's not like we have a kind of not that they necessarily need to, but it's like sometimes a lot easier to have one kind of specific direction we're going in. Or whereas I feel like we're kind of trying to do everything.
Yeah,
and achieving nothing.
It's a bit like Boris Johnson's survey, isn't it? To help people get into work whose industries maybe are under pressure in the current climate. Did you take this survey yet? I took it.
Nah.
It suggested I could either be a cake decorator.
Oh, this is to retrain, is it?
To retrain. If my job goes belly up, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just my job, but the whole industry. So cake decorator.
Right, okay, sorry. Cake decorator. Yeah, you'd be great at that.
Yeah. I mean, I like cakes.
So far. Yeah.
I got eyes. or IT consultant,
Okay, yeah.
which
I mean, listeners to this will realise straight away that that's not a good idea.
not a good idea. Or third option was some kind of entertainer. So I think, well, 1 out of 3 in bad.
What does that mean? What that was a specific. Well, that's what it said. Was it
Specifically,
some kind of entertainment? What, a
it,
clown, a
no,
juggler?
yeah, it specifically suggested a few items for me: children's entertainer, or
Right.
or something on the stage. Honestly, that's what it said.
Right. Okay.
So
Brilliant. I mean, well, Fatima's next job could be in cyber, and I mean, if this podcast isn't in cyber, I don't know what it is. Because
we literally live in cyberspace, and you're welcome to it,
maybe we
listeners.
should have applied for some of that cultural recovery fund.
I mean, I think to recover, you need to have been in a state of health to start with. So maybe we were never getting it.
Yeah, but this is anyway. Okay, let's move on to the second half.
I just think you're right. I think we don't know what we want to be.
Yeah.
And so that kind of... Sometimes we do. Sometimes we look really excellent. And I think we've said previously, when we've played well, we're a team that's trying to work down the wing. Now, that works well from the point of receiving the ball in the left-back position or right-back position until the point where you come to... Well, what we do is cross, but our crossing's no good and our finishing of crossing's no good. So
No.
we had a lot of crosses in the second half, didn't we? We came out quite lively. Well, more lively, I'd say.
Yeah. I think what's good about what had been happening before this game was that we've almost got a kind of three-pronged attack, whereas we can go through the middle with Jay and he's got running at the defence.
Yeah.
But then if you come in to kind of like try and deal with that, you've got options either side, and Jay can link up well with them. Using the other two in there, Taylor and Collins as well. But and so it's kind of like you come at them from three different directions, whereas tonight it was just like trying to shuffle it out to one of the two wings, and when Randall's not on his imperious kind of form of the season, and Randall's kind of, not quite there either, and we haven't got that middle option, then it's much easier to deal with.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's the difference. I think it's starting to show that Matt Jay is kind of a lot more important this season than I think he had been in the past.
Absolutely right. I mean, he was the real winner tonight because he didn't come on and we really missed him. Anyway, we tracked forward to about, and I'm afraid I don't have the exact times, but I think we had about 20 minutes left on the clock, maybe 15. And
well, we bring on Ben Seymour, didn't we? First, straight swap for Fisher.
Yeah.
And that was quite a strange one because, I mean, again, a bit of a thankless task for Fisher, for Seymour. We didn't change the way we played. We kept sort of pumping it long to him, and yet he sort of expected to do a job that hadn't been working for Alex Fisher, with about a kind of 1.5 foot height disadvantage.
Yeah. It was never.
And it looked for all the world like we needed two up front, didn't it?
It did. And then with about 20 minutes to go, and I'm looking this up as I'm talking, Bowman comes on. And
the big man who'd also not played in the previous game, the 0-0.
No, and you do realise when you see him, like when you see the shade between the two of them, or between whoever he replaces, that he is quite good at some things, even if it's just being a nuisance.
He was definitely that, yeah.
He also looked...
I think he can definitely unnerve you. I think possibly an argument for him coming off the bench being quite a good option, because for tired, kind of unnerved defences, maybe it gives them something new to think about. Whereas if they're planning to have to deal with him, and especially him up there on his own, he's a lot easier to deal with. He's not that good in the air. He's not that strong. But when you bring him on late in the game like that, I think that was actually seemed to work really well.
It did. And so I'm just checking the times now. So Seymour came on only 7 minutes into the second half, so Fisher got very little in the second half. Bowman came on with 25 to go, and he came on for Law. So then we're looking at a Seymour and Bowman combo. Now Seymour can't do what Jay does, but they're also not playing two up top like Kevin Phillips and Niall Quinn. So
it's a bit more like a Phillips and Quinn situation,
a bit
isn't
more. I gotta say, and I don't want this to be true because I want him to do really well, but the jury's kind of out on Ben Seymour so far, isn't it? And I know he's a young lad, and I know he's learning lots, but
Well, I was looking him up. I was looking up his kind of record because obviously he's been away on loan the last couple of seasons, and his scoring it has been excellent.
has it?
I think it was at Dorchester last season and somewhere else the season before, and he scored bags of goals, like loads. So yeah, but from what I've seen so far, I mean, it's perhaps a bit unfair just because the other youngsters that have stepped up this season have just been unbelievably good.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
especially I will come on to him, but especially if you kind of like, you wouldn't want to be compared in any way to Josh Key this season, would you? Do you know what I mean?
No, no.
That's one of your kind of like contemporaries. Like he looks like he might be our best player.
I know, he really does. So yeah, maybe I'm
But
being,
yeah,
maybe I'm
you're
being
right.
unfair
The
on
jury's a
Seymour.
bit out on Seymour, but he, again, a bit like Joel Randall needed at the start of the season. Seymour needs to get a goal, doesn't he, to sort of give him the belief that he can do his job in this team.
Yeah, and true. So with about 20 minutes to go, so not long after Bowman appeared, we suddenly start pressing. There's more crosses coming in, but also we got a lot of the pressure.
Yeah,
And then actually, like we just said, when we work from the wing constantly, our crossing's not really good enough. But Randall Williams had dropped inside a bit, and he picked it up halfway into their half, drives forward. I think he lays it out to, is it still Caprice on the wing at that point?
I think it still was at that point. Yeah, it was excellent cross from Caprice.
And then Bowman, well, he does what's harder to do than what he was supposed to do.
An absolute, like, you know, wild swing.
Wild swing, so wild that his leg went completely over the ball and it hit his other leg.
Yeah.
Which is...
And it bounces back to Jake Taylor.
Yep.
And to be fair, very neat finish from Jake Taylor. You see him do them. When he gets the chance, you know, he's not a bad shooter, actually, Taylor. You'd much rather him than, say, Collins, who, you know, 99 out of 100 times is blasting that over the bar. So, and I think Taylor, obviously, you know, he's one of those players, a bit like, I mean, not like Bowman, but it's just like, you can never criticise him for not trying, you know.
No.
And I was about to say that, you know, before this result, I was thinking it's not enough to just try, you know. But it turns out, if you're sort of in some situations, it sort of is just enough because you keep trying long enough, like, you know, like Taylor did, you get rewarded for it, which is, you know, which is the equaliser.
Well, absolutely. So suddenly, then all the pressure's on, and everyone obviously feels like we can win this. Matt Taylor's, you know,
It suddenly just looks inevitable that we're going to score. In fact, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Which is amazing after 70 minutes of dross.
Like what looked like definitely the worst performance this season. But,
yeah, definitely was. And then, like we always say, like we were saying with Joel Randall, he just needed a goal. Well, Bowman's not had a goal this season, and you just want one to go in off anywhere, don't you? And it's his tenacity. He closed down the keeper, booted it right at him, and in it goes.
We've seen him do it before, haven't we?
We have, yeah. He's had another one.
I think he's done it one. He did one at St James's Park before, like that. I think at the other end. There's definitely been a few that have gone close as well, isn't there? But I'm pretty sure there's been he's kind of scored an identical goal to that.
No,
but
you're
yeah,
absolutely
keeper
right.
I'm sure
you're right.
Tries to clear it. Bowman closes him down off his arse.
Yep.
Straight into the back of the net.
Beautiful. And yeah, it was written in the stars, as Tiny Temper says. So that somehow we got a very undeserved win.
Yeah, somehow, yeah.
But we'll take it.
Like I said before the end of the game, there, Josh Key had come on as well at 1-1, and it sort of again picked up where he left off. Really been looking like the outstanding player in that side, really, isn't he? Like there's a little run he did down the right hand side, which was like, you know, sumptuous stuff.
It really was, yeah. He jinked it around 2 or 3, didn't he? So that means that with the combination of the week before, which we'll talk about in a second, City are now unbeaten in 5 and picked up 4 points out of a possible 6. 2 very tricky games over 3 days. So an excellent, you know, it doesn't matter how they go in, Dan. So an excellent...
It doesn't matter how they go in, and it doesn't matter who's in defence.
No.
If they only concede 1 goal, you know, like, it doesn't matter how that 1 goal goes in or how slow or old they might be.
What's the update on McArdle? Do we know?
I think it's a broken hip.
So he's moved into a convalescence home, and
Yeah.
he'll be in there.
Hospice. I've got no idea.
No, Bowman was out. So Bowman didn't start the game at Walsall because of a stomach strain, which I think he's had before. So he obviously suffers from don't know if that's hernia stuff or what, but
Is that right? Oh,
yeah.
right. IBS.
No, I think more like
I want to have a word with Tom Parks.
yeah.
Grab some Imodium off Tom Parks before that.
Yeah, indeed. But we went to Walsall on Saturday and got the 0-0. And I think the most eventful thing about it for me was Taggy on co-commentary.
Yeah, what you mean, Julian Tag BEM?
I do mean Julian Tag BEM.
He's asked us how we refer to him from now on.
Yes, we're in a WhatsApp group with him.
I think we should respect that.
Absolutely. He said, come on, boys, give me due respect. So Tag, really, I liked how he really wanted better from the players, didn't he? So at one point he was really telling off Collins, and another point he was telling Alex Fisher that he should have done better and whatever. But I liked that as co-commentary.
You could sort of tell who his sort of mates were when he was really really praising Sweeney in the way that you praise someone who's is normally rubbish and they're doing quite well. Oh, sorry, I'm feeling a bit. It's a little bit again. It's like it's so tempting to slate Sweeney because on the one hand he really doesn't look like he's up to the job, but on the other hand, I mean, the stats don't lie.
Stats don't lie.
So I will stop slagging him off now. Actually,
no, that's right. That's right. You do what you want to do. So the results aren't quite in as I'm talking to you, but it looks like City are now up to 9th after those two results. I mean, unbeaten in 5 is what's important there, really, isn't it? And
yeah,
it's going to be a topsy-turvy season. But if we can get some kind of consistency, I'm sure it'll pay dividends. We've seen that, we beat Cambridge, then they've still managed to get top of the table, so we're the only team to beat them. Morecambe, of course, had that massive win and then have been thumped. Got massively thumped, but then they've got some other good wins. Salford keeps sacking successful managers, but City in ninth.
Well, I mean, one of their mates did a job, so what are you supposed to do?
By the way, there's a massive irony that Gary Neville's written some sort of manifesto about how football needs to be like this, and this, and not like that, and that, and yet the club that he owns, not the club he used to play for, the club he literally has a serious say in how it happens, are behaving like the worst of them. So I got little time for him.
Blind spot in it, yeah.
Yeah, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. Like this, I don't have any reason to defend Graham Alexander, but at the point of the sacking, he was, they're in the playoff position with 6 games played or 5 games played. You think this is crazy?
I did see some stats that sort of suggested that maybe he wasn't doing as well as maybe expected, but yeah, I mean, league position doesn't really lie, does it? I don't know. Whatever. We'll let them talk about that on the big Salford theory.
They haven't got one, Dan, because they ain't got any supporters because they've bought their club from nothing. But that leaves City, like I said, in 9th, and we look ahead to the next game in a minute. Welcome back, listeners. Hope you're all okay. Don't forget you can always get in touch with us about anything at all. We haven't heard from our mate Dean in Australia this week. But if you're someone from another place that we've culturally misappropriated, we'd love to hear from you. You can get in touch with us in all the normal ways. On email, bigbankpod@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, the Big Bank Theory Podcast. And we're on Twitter @BigBankPod. I want to give a shout out to the Exeter City women's development team. Did you see their score at the weekend, Dan?
I see they keep battering people.
18-0 against Bradninch.
Decent scoreline, that 18.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, outstanding. 18. So we're going to try and, like I said, we're going to try and get some of those games.
Developing pretty well there.
Absolutely. We're going to try and get some of those games. But unfortunately, I've been locked down by the government's ineptitude. So there we are.
No, you just have to imagine it.
18 goals. You'd like to think that there was every kind of goal.
Yeah. By Laura. Yeah, there'll be all sorts.
Absolutely all sorts. Back to the men's team. The games come thick and fast, Dan. Thick and fast.
Yeah, so we got Saturday, Tuesday, haven't we?
Yeah, that's right. So we've
Including
done
this one.
We've done the first of them, haven't we? So this Saturday we welcome Scunthorpe to St James Park. It's a 1 p.m. I guess so they can get home back in time for tea.
I mean, who knows? Don't know what that's about.
Fish
yeah,
supper
1
on the way
o'clock.
home. Yeah, 1 o'clock. Scunthorpe are having a terrible time.
So if that matey from Facebook is thinking, "Oh, that's what time I have my lunch," then just
he definitely is thinking that. He's livid.
Just have a sandwich.
He's raging. I would suggest you could even have a late lunch afterwards.
Well, it'd be about 3 o'clock, wouldn't it? Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think if you're cross about a football match happening at 7 p.m, you're definitely cross about having your lunch at 3 p.m.
Have a big brunch. Maybe some, eggs Benedict or something. And
go bigger. You could go bigger. Have a full fry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Do the full Stephen
with chips, with a portion of chips as well.
Oh, absolutely. Like the old Real McCoy days.
Yeah, or like Harley's.
Harley's.
We talked about Harley's Cafe before in this. Like, it used to be a sort of biker cafe down 4th Street.
Then it went a bit new agey.
But it was sort of like in its last carnation before it closed down. It was like half biker bar, half African themed cafe,
which is a rarely trodden hybrid.
Yeah. But the brilliant thing about it was you could get a working men's breakfast, which is literally the biggest breakfast you've ever seen, including a full portion of chips, £3.30. But also the best thing on the menu was you could get a chip butty, and that's £2.50. Or you could get a portion of chips and 2 slices of buttered bread, £2.40. So you basically you pay 10p for the arrangement of the bread.
Yeah, fair enough. I would pay 10p to have someone arrange my chips in some bread. I think that's a fair deal.
Yeah. I miss it. I miss that place every day.
Maybe our friend on Facebook could get on there and get one of them at 12 p.m. Give him plenty of time to digest and get home. So, yeah, it's Scunthorpe on Saturday. They're having a bad old do. Their manager, of course, got quite a lot of credit. It's Paul Hurst. You remember him?
I remember Paul Warhurst.
It's different. He's more peaceful. Okay. And Paul Hurst did remarkable work at Shrewsbury back when they were really flying, when they nearly went up from League One. I think we're talking 3 seasons ago now. He then made the mistake of taking the big money deal, remind you of anyone, Paul Tisdale, and went to Ipswich, where he fell foul of Farmers, and it all ended in ignominy.
A cow lobbed on him.
Got a cow lobbed on him on the Broads. And so then he had to go to Scunthorpe, where it's not going well. Scunthorpe only came down last year, Dan, but they currently sit in 23rd.
Yeah, they're one of those teams. I mean, I know people probably think of us like this, just being like, oh, yeah, League One or League Two, I don't really know, don't really care. Like, they'll be knocking around there somewhere.
Here's what I've got to say about Scunthorpe. If they carry on like this, they're not going to be knocking around anywhere. They've only scored 3 goals.
That's not good.
Not good, is it?
And who's up front for them?
Who's up front for them? I don't know. Who is up front for them?
Yeah, you do.
Do I?
Big man.
The big man? Who's the big man?
Ryan Loft.
Oh, Ryan Loft. He's there. We don't know if he's up front or not, but...
Well, he will. That's where he plays. But... So
wasn't he more of a winger? Did I imagine that wrong?
Big man. He's a big man up front.
Okay.
Do you remember him? We signed him on loan from Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Never played him.
He played once, I think, on the last day of the season or something.
When we were already assured of a playoff place, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what was going on with him. But anyway, I used to see him in the gym all the time, just lying on the floor, not doing anything. The long-term listeners of the podcast remember that. So I used to do a bit of a kind of Ryan Loft workout, kind of semi-regular update kind of thing. And I can say, I don't know I can't remember. Didn't he go to Leicester or something after that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he left us and went to Leicester.
Spurs sold him to Leicester.
Anyway,
yeah.
Now he's at Scunthorpe.
And it's not going
he's not
well.
Scoring any goals.
I don't know if he scored any or not, but they've only scored 3 in total. Then On Tuesday, it's Leyton Orient away. They got your favourite midfielder, of course, the former singer of Papa Roach, Jacoby Shaddit.
Oh, he still plays, does he?
Or rather, Joby McAnuff. Yeah, he still plays. Yeah. When he's not,
I thought he was.
when he's not keeping
retired.
Ryan. What's the alcohol manager called? I've completely forgotten.
Ryan Lowe.
Yeah. I was getting Loft and Lowe confused. When he's not putting Ryan Lowe in his place, he's still pulling some passes for Leyton Orient.
Well, fair enough. I'm going to tell you something about Kobe Shaddix. What was his name? What's his name? Joby McAnuff.
Joby McAnuff.
He's got enchanting eyes.
Well, I didn't expect you to say that. Well, there you go. That's good to know. Joby, of course, it's a team of fine names. Their goalkeeper, this man. If you had to choose a job, if this man put his name into Boris Johnson's job survey website, there's no way you'd give him the job of League Two goalkeeper. Do you know what his name is?
No.
Lawrence Vigouroux. That's not a goalkeeper name.
Wow, Lawrence Vigouroux, male gigolo.
Let's hope so. I mean, surely that guy, you'd expect him to be like a classical cellist, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
But he's not. He's between the sticks for Orient. So there we are. So, I mean, Orient having a better season than Scunthorpe. They sit 15th at the minute. They've never really recovered, have they, so far, from Justin Edinburgh dying and all the turmoil that went along with that. So I feel for them, obviously. And I feel for them. They've had a weird old time, haven't they, with their EFL thing. You know, couldn't play the game against Spurs because Spurs paid for their coronavirus test, and then the league said, "Oh, there's no room for Spurs." It sounds like I'm accusing Spurs of something, but Spurs generously paid for their testing, which then came back negative. There were some positive tests for Orient, which meant it was a negative thing for them, so they couldn't play. And then it couldn't be replayed.
So what you're saying is the positives were negative. The positives were a negative.
That is what I'm saying, yeah. So then they couldn't play the Spurs games. They were just turfed out of the EFL, which seems awfully unfair. And then they sit in 15th at the minute.
Right, so that's next week. All that next week. Another double header, which we'll have to deal with in the same way again, won't we? Where sort of we record on the Tuesday night after the game and then try and remember not only one whole game's worth of info, but two, which I think, so far we've managed reasonably well.
Are we reviewing our own podcast at the end of it? I like it when people do that. How's the meeting gone, do you think? I think it went well.
I think it's gone fantastic, yeah.
It's always the last item on a meeting agenda. How has the meeting gone?
That's when you're really trying to stretch the meeting out, innit? Because you don't want to go home to your wife. I don't mean you. I mean just like whoever's at the meeting.
Yeah,
I haven't got a wife.
You do have to worry about people who've put that on the agenda, like, out of their own choice, don't you? How has this gone?
Yeah.
Well, how has this podcast gone? I think it's gone very well.
Well, yeah, but before we kind of go, there's a couple of other things in there, probably.
Yeah.
A couple bits.
What have we got?
Well, remember I sort of said that we do something about kind of, what was it, Grecians in pop culture?
Oh, yeah, what else have we got?
I was talking about Steve Guttenberg's Exeter City's kit.
I saw it,
dressing gown in the
I
film.
see absolutely what you're saying, yeah.
3 men and a baby. Yeah. Unfortunately, I looked it up. I kind of did a bit of I thought I better back this up with some, with something. The film came out in 1987, so it's unlikely that he'd been influenced by a kit that didn't actually even exist at that point, unless Exeter City were influenced by Steve Guttenberg's dressing gown. That's the only explanation for it, basically.
If you think about the promotion-winning team of 89-90, quite a lot of them look a bit like Guttenberg and Tom Selleck.
Yeah, they've got that hair, sort of feathery, kind of, I don't know how you describe it, sort of blow-dried kind of hair.
Quite a few moustaches in that team.
Yeah, so that's possible that Exeter City designed that kit based on Steve Guttenberg's character in that film's dressing gown. However, we were also sort of questioning whether maybe Steve Guttenberg was an Exeter City fan. Now, I haven't managed to find any further evidence that that's the case. But he has been in 2 films about football.
He never has.
Or soccer, as I was saying. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? One's called Home Team.
That meeting really overran. Right, we just got to have a name for this film.
He's a sort of former pro, like soccer player, who's done some sort of gambling crime and has been sort of sentenced to help out at a boys' home. Yes, you can imagine the sort of like you know,
got it. Heartwarming.
Yeah, and you can work that out. And then there's another one called The Big Green. So I mean, you know, at the very least, he probably maybe likes football a bit. I don't know. Right.
Steve. If you're listening, Steve Gutenberg, you can get in touch with us in all the normal ways. Of course, email's fine.
Or if maybe you know someone who knows Stephen Gutenberg, or you know him yourself, and we'd love to have him on the podcast.
I've got a question for you. I enjoyed two things about. I don't often watch it, but Graham Norton's show was on telly the other day. That's not true. I watch it quite often actually. And there were two guests. I don't remember who the other one was. It was Arsene Wenger and it was Dawn French, right? And so Graham Norton saying, "Who do you like then? You know, who's your team?" Dawn French, "Do you like football?" And she said, "My family's from down that way, so I like Plymouth Argyle." Right?
Right.
Which I didn't know she was from down this way, but whatever. And I thought, I wonder if her and Edmondson, because I'm assuming they know each other, disagree about football. Yeah, she's off. And then Wenger, I'd already liked him, but I couldn't have liked him more. He claimed he'd heard of Plymouth Argyle, but he knew nothing about them. I was like, yes, well played, Arsene. Yeah, it was good.
And why would he have done?
So that amused me.
That's good. So there's another, that's sort of vaguely greetings in pop culture. I mean, it isn't, but it sort of is. The only other bit I've got is, did notice that Lewis Page, new wonder wingback,
yes,
looks a bit like Paul A Nan.
Who's Paul A Nan?
He played the character of Sol in Hollyoaks in about sort of, I don't know, 1998, 1997.
I mean, we're really pulling out the modern references, aren't we?
Remember him?
Oh, I don't think I do.
Come on, Paul A Nan.
That sounds like when you've, snogged someone who's a bit old for you, and you've pulled a Nan. Yeah.
He's also sort of been on, I think he maybe has been on like Love Island or something. Like, there he is. There, I'm just showing you a picture. There he is.
Oh, that guy.
Remember him?
Yeah, he does look a bit like Lewis Page. You're right, Paul A Nan. All right, well, make sure you include a picture of him with any upcoming reference. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. All right, Paul A Nan. Well, that's nice for Lewis Page. I'm still finding it hard to I just can't tell the difference on the pitch between Joel Randall and Josh Key. They look so similar. It's very
really no. You can totally tell the difference. Joel Randall's got slightly wavier hair.
Has he? I'll have to go back and get the cataracts scraped off again.
I mean, there is an easier way. Obviously, they've got name and number on the back of their shirt. But if you can't see
is that what that's for?
Look to the hair.
Thank you. All right, well, that's top tip. I am struggling with that, I've got to say. Okay, well, thank you, Dan, for those interesting pop culture references. Much appreciated.
No problem.
I again don't know what I'm surprised to say, and just surprised to tell you, Dan, no one has got in touch about any Grecians in pop culture references, but we'd like to hear them, wouldn't we?
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it really doesn't matter how tenuous they are. I mean, it can just be maybe it's like that, a look-alike, or I don't know.
We'll accept all
wild
things.
Anything.
All right. Well, get in touch with us, listeners, about those things. Thanks everyone for listening. And thanks to Exeter City for 4 lovely points. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.